What's up everyone, Vexidus here from Discount Deviants, and today I wanted to inform you, it has been done. The secret to success has been achieved. Let me tell you, this scientific discovery is groundbreaking, innovative, and quite frankly simple. Now you might be saying,
Vexidus, such a feat is impossible in this modern era of gaming.
My dudes, I have the science right here. The mission has been accomplished. The war has been won. You want to know what this revolutionary discovery is? AAA companies, I hope you're taking notes because you could learn a thing or two here. If you make a good game, people will play it. Gamers will give you their money. Something Veilguard did not do. Who managed to do such a thing? A Chinese company, NetEase Games, actually managed to pull this off. They developed a game known as Marvel Rivals. And how did they manage to pull this off? They created characters that people wanted to play, implemented fun gameplay, and created maps that people don't absolutely hate. They developed a good game. It's not jam-packed with loot boxes, it's not jam-packed with FOMO, it's just a hero shooter that is good. So yes, that means today I am covering NetEase's new hero shooter, Marvel Rivals. At first I was cautious about playing this game. I was already frustrated with how Blizzard handled their sequel, if that's what you want to call it, Overwatch 2. And at first glance, I was expecting this game to be a cheap knockoff of Overwatch that would be completely rejected by the community, and a game where you'd have to spend actual money just to unlock heroes, just to play them. Today I can finally say that all of my concerns for this game were wrong. My fears of this being a bad game turned into enjoyment. A game that makes me want to continue playing it. For once in a lifetime, yes, a good game! I will be scoring Marvel Rivals out of 10. A 10 being a legendary game where its name is spoken by the gods, and 1 being the most unplayable doo-doo-ass game that corrupts the very earth with its filth. So let's jump right in. At the time of this recording, Marvel Rivals has a total of 35 playable characters, each with a unique playstyle and takes on one of 3 roles. I will not list off all characters in this video, however, I will give you some good examples for each role. Starting off, Vanguards protect their team, all while disrupting the enemy team. These include Doctor Strange, Venom, Captain America, Hulk, Thor, and Magneto. They have the most health, and their kits are often centered around them defending their team or causing a ruckus in the enemy backlines. Duelists are damage dealers who are focused on dealing as much damage as humanly possible. These characters include Iron Man, Hawkeye, Moon Knight, Psylocke, Wolverine, Storm, Punisher, and Spider-Man. Both duelists and strategists have the lowest health, and their kits are often damage or movement based. Finally, strategists provide supportive buffs and heal their allies to keep them in the fight longer. These characters include Cloak and Dagger, Luna Snow, Mantis, Rocket Raccoon, Adam Warlock, Jeff the Landshark, and Loki. Now speaking of Jeff the Landshark,
Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy?
As mentioned before, they're in the same category as duelists where they have the lowest health, and their kits are often focused on keeping their teammates alive or supporting them in any way possible. Though I mentioned that these characters fall into 3 specific roles, each of these roles take on a unique specialization, such as being a dive tank, or a flanker, or an aggressive support, or a tank shredder. These specializations really hone in on each character's playstyle, on how they are truly meant to be played. Now each character comes with a basic attack, an alternate attack, 2 abilities, an ultimate power, and a passive. Some characters may have a little bit more than others, but this is the general template of each character. Each of the characters also have a distinct team-up combination with at least 1 or 2 other characters that provide passive buffs or a bonus ability to their pool. If Scarlet Witch is paired with Magneto, she can infuse chaos energy into his greatsword, allowing him to activate a new ability that sends out chaos magic attacks at his foes at range. Scarlet Witch, on the other hand, receives a passive bonus of 10% bonus damage. It's a pretty cool feature. Some of these team-ups are better than others, but they do provide further enhancement to the gameplay, making each of the combinations fun to play around with. If you want to make the most out of these characters, the best bet is to discover the synergy between them and play around with your team's composition to see which characters synergize with each other. If your characters are not synergizing due to conflicting playstyles, this is anti-synergy. If you have an anti-synergy team composition, it will feel like you're in an uphill battle with your character and your team. You can always try to talk to your team before the match starts to see what they're going to play and work around them. Or you could totally lock in whatever you want because there is no I in team, but there is certainly no you either. Haha, auto lock and duelist again, baby. Gotta drop those big numbers. Gotta stack them kills. All of the characters have their own aesthetic based on the dimension that they were drawn from. And I have to say, NetEase did a stand-up job with them. Truly stellar. Their appearance looks how the heroes and villains out of the Marvel Universe should look. This is what gamers want. They want to play the characters that they have grown up with their entire lives. And it is because of this massive point as to why Marvel Rivals has been so successful. Because they get to play their favorite characters. Hell, all the male characters are jacked beyond belief, like they have abused the roids their entire life. Magneto out here pumping iron with his hands and metal with his mind. As for the women, they are strong and beautiful. Not Penny Parker because she is 14. Seriously, some of y'all need Jesus. Isn't this the physique people should expect superheroes to have? Personally, I think so. They should look like they can dish out damage, and look good doing it. I have had a blast playing all of these characters, regardless of how good they are. And I can attribute this to the fun and intense gameplay in each of the matches I have been in. Whether I am playing as Cloak and Dagger, switching between forms to heal my team or damage the enemy, playing as Hulk to clobber the enemies like how I wanted to back in the day with the Hulk fists, but I was the lame kid who didn't have them. Thanks, Mom. I still want them. Playing as Iron Man, thinking I'm going to fly in and obliterate the enemy team with my gadgets, only to get shot out of the sky by Hawkeye or Hela, or have an Iron Fist magically punch the air until he reaches me. Or dashing around as Black Panther, thinking I'm actually doing something, but turns out I'm not, because I'm not a Zoomer crackhead high off cocaine, Adderall, and Red Bull. Marvel Rivals has been an entertaining experience because of these characters. The impression that I was left with the characters are incredibly positive. Marvel Rivals is still new and fresh where the characters are still being learned by the player base. The one main issue that I have seen is that some characters are far more powerful than others. NetEase has already released a balancing patch, and I hope they continue with their momentum to keep things exciting. So far, the characters have been an absolute treat, and I can't wait till they release more. As for all the Spider-Man mains out there on my team with less damage and kills than the healers and the tanks, while the one on the enemy team proves to be a Zoomer god.
Fuck you, Spider-Man!
The overall premise of Marvel Rivals is relatively simple. You work as a team to complete the objective and win the match, all while beating the piss out of the enemy team. Hell yeah, that's my favorite thing to do! At the time of this recording, there are two game types. Convoy, where one team pushes a moving vehicle and the other team tries to stop them by jumping all over the place like maniacs. And Capture the Objective, where like it says in the name, both teams try to capture an objective, all while shooting each other and jumping around like maniacs. I truly am a simple man who is easily entertained. The team that wins 2 out of 3 wins the match. At the start of a convoy match, the defenders are given an opportunity to entrench themselves in a defensible position around the vehicle, while the attackers get to sit at their spawn, enjoying the escalator music. Hit it! When the doors open, they get to live out the famous beach landings of Normandy, as their best friends get mowed down by Punisher mains sitting far back on his turret, all while running through minefields left by that gremlin Penny Parker. For Capture the Objective, both teams get to sit back and hop around the team room like goobers, painting the wall with their sprays, emoting, and listening to elevator music. Now for game modes, you have Quick Match, which is probably the most common game mode, where you will play against anyone regardless of skill or rank. Competitive, which is unlocked upon reaching level 10, where you can compete to increase your rank for rewards at the end of the season. Conquest mode, where you defeat enemies to collect Chronovium, with the first team to reach the target wins. The special event that changes based on the season, The last one was Jeff's Winter Splash Festival, where you paint the map with your team's color, with the most percentage winning. It sucked. Doom Match, where it is essentially a free-for-all, pitting players who want to play Call of Duty instead of Marvel Rivals. The person who reaches the target kills wins. Custom game lobbies to play with friends or other people in a controlled lobby, which you need friends. And if you don't have any, sucks to be you. And Practice vs. AI, where you think you're on top of the world, until you get stomped in a regular lobby, finding yourself once again humbled by the matchmaking gods. At this current time, there is no role queue, and NetEase has declared they have no intention of adding it. That leaves the players to regulate who plays what, which to me is honestly a good thing, because at first, Overwatch allowed creativity of different team compositions, and once Blizzard took that away, it sucked. Upon joining a match, you can coordinate with your team on who plays what, or your entire team will auto-lock Duelist. All of them. Every single one of them. At that moment, you can either join them in the downward spiral of a 6-duelist team, leading to the team blaming each other for not selecting the other roles, or you are forced to play Vanguard or Strategist, where you will probably get called all kinds of horrible profanities, slurs, and ultimately get blamed for the painful spanking your team received, even though the one blaming you is the 1 kill and 12 death Moon Knight, who did less damage than the Rocket Raccoon on the enemy team with 500 damage. At the end of the match, you can review everyone's score, like your teammates, talk smack to the opposing team even if you lost,
GG easy noobs,
and see who on your team earned MVP. There is an SVP for the losing team, which is a glorified losing team MVP, which might as well be second place. However, second place is for losers, because if you're not first place, you are last place. What a champion. There is a tutorial and practice range for you to hone your skills outside of regular mode, where you can practice your aim, and use it to become the sweatiest tryhard alive, in hopes where you can claim fame and glory all by yourself. And then eventually you get humbled by even sweatier people out there. There will be some who compare Rivals to Overwatch. While there are characters with similar abilities and weapons, calling this an Overwatch clone is a long shot. Are you going to tell me that a game having characters that have sniper rifles, assault rifles, bows, frontal shields, the ability to heal your team, or game types that involve capturing points, moving objectives, or killing the enemy team, is grounds for calling Marvel Rivals an Overwatch clone?
But Exodus, these are very similar concepts. How can Rivals not be an Overwatch clone?
If that's the case, Overwatch copied Team Fortress 2 and other shooter games out there long before Marvel Rivals copied Overwatch. Regardless of who copied who, the gameplay of Marvel Rivals is smooth, chaotic, intense, and gratifying. The combat was entertaining, with both teams hopping and running around like psychopaths, just to kill each other. Ah, good times. Good times. Right now there are a total of 9 maps. Ixgard, which is an Asgard map with the escort and capture game types. Tokyo 2099, a Spider-Verse map with 2 variants with the same game types. Wakanda maps with 2 variants and the same game types. Clintar with the escort game type. Hydra base with the capture point game type. And lastly, the newest map, Midtown, which has the escort game type. A majority of these maps I have no qualms with. However, I enjoy some more than others. Even then, I have had a great time playing on most of them. As for the circular room with the round walkway above on Ixgard's Capture the Objective mode, and the map with the moving walls in Hydra base, I hate you. I hate you so much. There are different points of entry into each objective, indestructible walls, statues, floors, pillars, and doors, giving your team a new area to push. I do think that the destructible environments adds more tactics to the gameplay, having you think where you're going to move next. This is where you begin to formulate your next plan of attack, or where you're going to set up the next choke point to defend. Are you going to go into the small room where you're likely to get cut into ribbons by close-range characters if the walls are indestructible? Or stay out in the open to have Hela throwing her orbs of death at you during her ultimate while you scream begging for mercy? Please, Hela, please, no, not again. There are also healing pads around the map. If you step on one, it restores your health, in turn putting it on a short cooldown. The healing pads are also great for healing you during a flank, or during your escape from the relentless Spider-Man kicking your skull in. Or if your team has no healers, again. Can we have healers, please? And jump pads where if you step on one, it shoots you up into the air, so Hawkeye can pick your head off mid-flight. Such fun times. The jump pads are good for escaping bad situations or flanking the enemy team, or potentially reaching the irritating snipers and flying characters. Overall, the maps were well done, and I believe them to be a positive factor as to why Marvel Rivals is so good. Marvel Rivals has played smoothly for me from the very moment I started playing it, and at this time I do not have a high-end gaming PC anymore. Most players will unlikely have issues with how well the game runs. No, the real problem you will face. Because this is a team game, you are at the mercy of your team and the enemy team. If your team is hot garbage, or your enemies are esport champions, you will likely lose. When things do line up in game, and both teams are making exciting plays and performing well, the game is intense, entertaining, and fast-paced. But when you are getting absolutely slaughtered and trapped in your spawn, then Marvel Rivals can feel rough. It's like an abusive relationship. On bad days, the game kicks you in the balls really hard, making you want to stop playing because now you have a 20-game losing streak, and now you are kicking your own balls in frustration. And then on good days, you reel in the dubs with crazy win streaks, highlights, scores, and MVPs. Gotta get those dubs, baby! And then back to the loving relationship you go. Please don't hurt me. There is also good replayability in Rivals, since most of the games are not going to be total repeats, mainly due to the map variety, the characters you play and face, and the teams that you are with. You also have the different game modes, which can definitely switch things up a bit. Feel like playing another game mode because you're absolutely getting curb stomped in competitive mode? Then play Quick Match. Go fight some AI for a couple of games. Go into practice mode and practice your aim for a little bit. Go into Doom Match and play Call of Duty. Or get your friends to join a custom lobby with you, if you have any. There is plenty to do in Marvel Rivals to keep you entertained for hours and hours. You seldom will face the same enemy team compositions in subsequent matches. The playability and replayability for Rivals is great. Like most online multiplayer games, there is a virtual store where you can access the most cutting-edge merchandise, that being skins. So you can run around the battlefield either looking like your dream character from the MCU or looking like a complete clown, with skins like the Dolphin Jeff the Shark skin. Isn't he precious? Each skin bundle comes with the skin, an emote, an MVP animation, and a spray. You can buy these bundles and skins with letdowns, which is an online currency you buy with real money. Or you earn small amounts of it in the Battlepass, which you need to spend real-life money to unlock that too, for the most part. You can also use another currency called units, which you can earn through achievements, the Battlepass, or by using your letdowns. I like most of the skins in the shop. While they are a bit pricey, this game was free from the start, unlike the original Overwatch. You either had to buy a crapload of loot boxes with real-life money, play a crapload of games just to get these loot boxes. And even then, it wasn't a guarantee that you were going to get the skin you wanted. To this day, I still hate loot boxes. And the skins in Overwatch 2 feel much pricier than the ones in Rivals. As far as I can tell, I also loved being able to see my skins. Unlike in Overwatch 2, you can only see your skin through your arms and gun, emotes, dying, and at the end game screens. Now enough talking smack about Overwatch 2. Let me bring up another topic. I would also like to bring up how good the characters and skins look as opposed to the Avengers game that came out years ago and subsequently died. Everything in this game looks so much better. I get that the company who made the Avengers game was trying to give it the whole MCU appearance, but even then it looks so bad compared to Rivals. I mentioned Battle Pass earlier.
Oh geez, I hate Battle Passes, Vexidus. Most of the time the skins and content either suck, or the passes just go away after the time runs out.
While yes, for most games, the Battle Pass in Marvel Rivals is packed with content. Good content for the most part, and you earn this content through Battle Pass points. You get these Battle Pass points through completing dailies, weeklies, certain achievements, and other various challenges. The Season 0 Battle Pass was $5 for the basic, and $10 for the luxury. Now for Season 1, since the passes are bigger and packed with more content, they are $10 to $20. Again, these passes are bigger and last longer. And to put the cherry on top, once you get the Battle Pass, you unlock it forever. You can continue putting points into it, much like Helldivers and Halo. And it is a concept I completely agree with, because I hate FOMO. FOMO sucks. I hate it for the sake of missing out on cool skins when you have real-life obligations, or you just want to play something else for a little bit. I mean, at least put some of the skins in the shop, perhaps a little bit later after the season ends. This gives people a chance to obtain the skins after missing out. Companies need to stop using FOMO. Please. I did not hate the virtual store for Marvel Rivals, and I am honestly shocked to say that because I hate most online stores. The fact that they put all of their skins into the online store and just let you flat out buy them all is really nice. I also love the Battlepass system. Just being able to complete it whenever I want makes this much more relaxing. Matchmaking for Marvel Rivals has been both good and bad. On one side of the coin, you will have amazing matches, win or lose, where the games will be intense and fun. On the other side, there is a chance you will get obliterated by people who put their entire lives into this game, never logging off to get an ounce of sleep, never going into the outside world, they have no need for relationships. Hell, they probably have built-in porcelain thrones attached to their game chairs, owning the futuristic Instacooker 9000 to generate infinite pizza pockets, and owning a Red Bull dispenser that also infinitely stocks itself just for them to stay at their computers all the time. There are times I feel like I am facing esport godchildren who have been blessed by Jesus Christ and Tom Cruise in making insanely incredible plays, or hitting every headshot known to man, and some known to sharks. Regardless, I still have fun, unless my team is getting booty blasted. But this is the same issue with matchmaking that online multiplayer games has faced since forever. I brought up earlier in the video that there is also no role queue, which is something I am actually quite happy that does not exist. Though role queue for Overwatch ensured people follow a certain team composition, it effectively destroyed any creative team composition outside of the norm. It also put players into crazy queue times just for wanting to play the damage role. I understand the desire to win and have a good team composition. However, let the community decide what they want. Let them choose what team compositions they have. Let gamers police their own. No one wants to have long queue times. Teams will either adapt or continue getting dominated. Such is the name of the game. Competitive is such a fun time with the insta-lock duelists who refuse to play any other role. The ultra-high ranking players smurfing on their 30th alternate account, and the moment you're about to rank up to the next rank, only to get smashed 15 games in a row, losing 2 ranks. The graphics for Marvel Rivals are what you would expect from a hero shooter game, and that is not a bad thing in on itself. NetEase did a stellar job with the design of the graphics of this game. While yes, they felt cartoony, they should feel cartoony because, well, Marvel characters are from comic books. I am glad they went with the comic book aesthetic over the more realistic MCU vibes that the Avengers game went with. Mentioning the aesthetic of the characters and the maps were fantastic. While some of the characters were not completely perfect representations of their comic book counterparts, it never bothered me because it made sense. It is because of the story in the background involving the intertwined timelines that it worked. These characters are all from different universes, and this concept hasn't stopped comic book artists from creating different versions of the characters before. I would say that the appearance of each of the characters and their skins are top-notch, and I'm eager to see the designs of newer characters and skins in future content patches. As for the level design, I loved the visuals of all of the maps. The textures and visuals down to the very minute details were really well done. I think that the aesthetic and graphic design of both characters and maps are appealing to the eye, polished, crisp, beautiful. It is visually well made. Not every game needs to look like real life. There are plenty of games out there that do not have incredible real life graphics, and they are some of the most beloved games. The future of character and level design for Marvel Rivals already has me thrilled for more. The sound effects of the game were exceptional, from the sounds of combat to the destructible environments. The game sounded amazing. Every time I jumped into battle, I felt exhilarated during the teamfights, just listening to the mayhem unfold. The voice acting was not half bad either, though they are not voiced by the actors of the MCU. It didn't matter to me because I had no problems to begin with. The voice acting was believable enough for me to be like, yeah, that's the character I'm playing. It was wonderful hearing all these characters in a match. and fearing for my life as Winter Soldier screams "armed and dangerous" and then screams again 5 times, and my teammates are all gone. Or Star-Lord shouting "legendary" as he locks onto you and melts your entire health bar, just like butter. How about when you hear Doctor Strange say, "by the eye of Agamotto," as both you and your ghost are watching Doctor Strange's entire team prepare to brutalize you and the ghost. At least you're not dying alone. Music was also a big treat, especially both the Season 0 and Season 1 main themes, just as you enter the game's start screen. They are both phenomenal. They give you the entire comic book superhero vibes that you're looking for. The music on each of the maps were also wonderful. Sitting back and just listening to them just before the match starts, not the elevator music, is delightful. Right before the sound of death and destruction fills your ears. It all sounds so harmonious. Isn't it great? I have noticed people mentioning having performance and technical issues with Marvel Rivals. However, from my perspective, I have only encountered a few minor crashes, and that's about it. And even then, the crashes haven't happened to me as of late. I've not really had any lag or game-breaking bugs or texture issues or anything else of such nature. Quite a bit of the community has been saying that there is a cheater problem, supposedly plaguing some of the matches. Now, I am not positive myself as to who is partaking in any of these cheats, unless they are so blatantly obvious about it, but I don't really see that as often. There are also players who have been abusing exploits. These I have seen, such as players using Doctor Strange's portal to trap players underground in front of their spawn room door. Regardless, the technical and performance issues were just not there for me. I want to make this crystal clear, there is no story mode in this game. This is a multiplayer only game. It's a pretty exclusive club you have here. Now there is a story in the background where Doctor Doom meets his counterpart from 2099, and the two begin to fight each other, leading to the time streams being entangled. This creates worlds and dimensions where heroes and villains battle it out in hopes that they can defeat both of the Doctor Dooms, just so they can restore their own timelines. You can read into the lore of Rivals, and the stories of each of the characters in-game. You can also unlock comic book strips, which explains what's going on in-game as the game progresses. Most of these are earned through events and the Battlepass. But really, that's all you need to know about the story. Again, there will be new stories unfolding as the game progresses through each season, which is pretty neat. There is something about online matchmaking communities that bring us all closer together. Much of the Marvel Rivals community in quick play and in other game modes, outside of competitive, are relatively tame. But once you go through those doors of competitive mode, there is no going back. You would begin to experience players who have more anger issues than what a therapist would be able to help with. Yet this is behavior I have come to expect in online multiplayer games at this point, and it is mainly due to the internet having a force field that protects their real-life identities, so they don't have to worry about somebody showing up at their door just to club them in their shins for being an asshole. Besides, if you're truly offended by someone screaming at you, saying that you suck at Spider-Man, you can always turn off voice chat and text chat, as well as just muting or reporting the players who are harassing you anyway. But joining an online gaming community and expecting people not to act like turds is never going to happen. Hell would sooner freeze over at that point. And there also have been really chill people to play the game with, who have provided me with constructive criticism that helps me improve as a player. Ultimately, the community is a flip of a coin. Whether you join a lobby with some really cool dudes, or you join a match with Temper Tantrum Tom, who wants nothing more than to call you every profanity and slur in the book, just to make his score of 0 kills, 25 deaths, and 1,000 damage as a duelist seem less humiliating. I mentioned earlier in this review, NetEase has already released a balancing patch for Marvel Rivals, which buffed some underwhelming characters, all while nerfing some more powerful ones. I just pray that they continue making reasonable efforts to balance the game. I want to list off some of the major changes for the characters that occurred last balancing patch. Rocket Raccoon saw an increase to his healing, which made him into a much more viable healer. Storm's damage and projectile speeds saw buffs, making her more powerful. Moon Knight's ultimate became larger and more of a threat, and Cloak and Dagger's ultimate got an additional dash. As for the nerfs, Hawkeye got his passive toned down. Black Panther saw the health gains from his Vibranium marks reduced. Mantis lost movement speed. No more Sonic the Hedgehog for you. Hulk's shield received reductions to its value. Doctor Strange's shield regeneration was reduced. Doctor Strange's shield regeneration was slightly reduced. And the cooldown interval for Luna Snow's ultimate, for her to switch between healing and damage, was increased. Please note that these were not all of the changes, and that there was actually a lot more. But you get the idea, right? While some of the characters still need improvements, this is hopefully just the beginning to more needed changes, keeping the game interesting and the meta ever changing. Since the launch of Marvel Rivals, NetEase released 2 new characters, Mr. Fantastic and Invisible Woman. They also released a new map, the Season 1 Battle Pass, where I discussed earlier in the video, will remain permanent, the Call of Duty mode Doom match, and some new seasonal skins. There are also 2 more confirmed characters on the way, The Thing and Johnny Storm, and potentially Blade, who is rumored to be coming at the end of Season 1. NetEase has already stated they intend on releasing 1 to 2 new characters every month or so, which is insane. The results would be way more than what Overwatch would see in an entire year.
But Vexnus, it is about the quality of the characters.
So you're going to tell me that the Mole Person and the Flamboyant Flower Man are interesting concepts? I will give it to you that the muscular dude from Moana with the 2 miniguns was actually pretty cool. But Marvel Rivals also has a lot of thrilling concepts. I'm hoping to see characters like Deadpool, Blade, Ultron, Gambit, Domino, Jubilee, Nightcrawler, Green Goblin, Colossus, Gamora, Drax, Cyclops, Ghost Rider, Daredevil, Emma Frost, Phoenix, Rogue, Cable, Taskmaster, Mysterio, Beast.
A few moments later.
Quicksilver, Morbius, War Machine, Doc Ock, Lizard, Sandman, Silver Surfer, Doctor Doom, Electro, Luke Cage, Mystique, Jessica Jones, Kraven, Scorpion, Ant-Man, Wasp, Juggernaut, MODOK, and so many other characters would be amazing. Seeing much of the Marvel Universe would be sick. Now please don't be the guy that is like,
Vexnus is just trying to bully Overwatch. He is just a hater. He just likes cheap knockoffs of Overwatch, just to get back at Blizzard.
oh please. Here's the thing, I do not hate Overwatch. In fact, I had fun for many years of playing Overwatch, just before I finally decided to stop playing because I got bored. Will it happen with this game? I do not know. I just want games to be good. Overwatch has its moments. However, I feel like Blizzard has lost their way, and they are just not connecting with their audience like they should and they have done in the past. Marvel Rivals has surprised me. I was expecting it to be completely terrible, utter garbage, yet it blew all of my expectations out of the water. I did not see this coming. Not at all. Looking at everything now, I have to laugh how the Avengers game that came out a few years ago and was hyped beyond belief, where everyone was saying it was going to be an amazing game, turned out to be such a dumpster fire in comparison to Marvel Rivals. Holy crap, the Avengers game was such a letdown. It was so bad that the live service was discontinued, yet Marvel Rivals seems to be thriving. I am not good at this game by any stretch, but I still find myself having loads of fun playing it. I believe that there is something in Marvel Rivals for everyone. Whether you are playing Lone Wolf, getting clapped by the matchmaking gods, or sitting back popping a cold one with the boys, and still getting clapped by the matchmaking gods. I think Marvel Rivals is a game I see myself sticking around for, and playing during some of my off time. I am hoping that this game continues to rise and impress. I give Marvel Rivals a 9 out of 10. Now it is time to load up some Marvel Rivals and earn some dubs with the boys.
Soon after.
Everyone died. The end.
I'm done for the day. What's up everyone, Vexidus here, and I wanted to thank you all for watching this review. I would also like to thank you for watching my Veilguard review if you have, God bless your soul, any of our gameplay videos, and shorts. We are new to the content creation world and are working to improve as much as possible as we progress. I already have a schedule lined up to review Monster Hunter Wilds, release gameplay for Wilds, and sometime in March or April, I intend to review Assassin's Creed Shadows. God save me on that one. If you are new here and enjoy our content, please like and subscribe. Anything helps, as we want to grow this channel with you guys. I also like supportive criticism, so that I can continue getting better as a content creator. Want to watch my Veilguard review? Again, God save your soul. Or one of our prior gameplay videos? Click on one of the boxes here. I am looking forward to my next video. See you next time.